What's up, you wrestling fanatics and friends? You're listening to the True Wrestling Podcast, episode 87 or 88. Thanks for tuning in. I recently had a fun conversation with John Hangey, head wrestling coach at Rider University. We cover all sorts of stuff, from wrapping up the COVID year to having Jesse Della Vecchia get to the finals last year, and we preview this year's team. Thanks for tuning in. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Adidas Wrestling. You can check them out at adidaswrestling.com and on Twitter at Adidas Wrestling. You can follow Coach Hangey at Coach Hangey, Hangey on Twitter, or Ryder at Ryder Wrestling, and you can follow me there at True Wrestler 1. Without further delay, here's our conversation. Here with Rider Bronc head coach John Hangey. Coach, thanks for taking the time to talk today.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Pretty crazy last year, not just for the world, but for you guys. I mean, you had, changes to the program. You had some personal health stuff. And then on top of it, cherry, highest finish of a Bronc wrestler in history. What are the takeaways from last year? That's a big question, huh?
Well, it was definitely a year like we've never had before. First of all, the whole pandemic thing, and that changed everything. And we decided to shrink our roster, and the entire wrestling community decided to shrink our season. So it was probably my athletic director actually commended the wrestling coaches for taking the approach that less is more. Because if you just expected to get the whole season in as normal, you were severely mistaken. It wasn't going to happen. With all the testing and all the financial components strapped to it and stuff like that, we had to be very, observant about what we were asking our administrators for. Because if I kept my 40 guys on the roster and I said we need to test them 3 days a week, that's a lot of money that they're spending, and they're going to only look at it and say, well, why are we spending all this money on testing wrestlers? So we shrunk our roster to like 20, 22 kids max. Some really difficult conversations had to be had for that. But everybody kind of got on board, and then we shrunk it lengthwise. It didn't start till January, and it was the best decision we ever made. And when you minimize the amount of people that are involved and the amount of contests, you minimize the amount of potential things that can go wrong. So fortunately for us, we got it in. We never got shut down. We got shut down once, and it was middle of December. And then we never had another issue the rest of the way. So we were, very fortunate that way. But as we get competing, first match, we go to Binghamton, and they just beat us. We're down 12-0 within 6 minutes of the dual meet starting, because my 25 and my 33 got pinned. And I was not expecting that. I was actually expecting to win both, at least one, but hopefully both. And the long story short is we lost the dual meet.
Yeah.
Okay. Driving home, and all of a sudden something happens to me, and I've never felt before, and I end up having a stroke. So driving in the car as we're doing it, all this stuff. And long story short is I get taken to the hospital that night by my trainer. Thank God he was there with me. Basically, I was back in practice on Wednesday, so everything was fine. So again, here we go, roller coasters ride. Then we don't lose a match from that point on. Ethan Laird beats Jordan Wood in the last dual meet against Lehigh, and we beat a top 25 team, and he beats a returning All-American. We go to the conference tournament. We have a great conference tournament. We qualify 6 guys for the NCAAs, and then the highlight of the entire program's existence happens in March, where we get Jesse Della Vecchia into the finals. So talk about the highs and lows that we could have ever done.
Yeah.
That last year sums that up completely.
To hear the rest of Coach Hangey's interview, cruise on over to Rockfin, my channel True Wrestling, and enjoy it.